The best word for what's happening in America right now is radicalization.
Disinformation, misinformation, radicalization, rage, and extremism.
Donald Trump and his team to overrule the will of
January 6th investigation.
Ah, shit, lame, Bummer, dude.
So, everyone says that traditional media is dead. They no longer serve a purpose other than to keep the boomers entertained and push propaganda. And if there was a person who would make that statement true, it's Don Lemon. No, and just like Don Lemon's heterosexual counterpart, Brian Stelter, he can't miss a chance to spin a topic to promote leftist propaganda and fail fantastically while doing it. So, here's a clip of Don Lemon trying to capitalize on the Queen's death and the transition of wealth to gain a W for reparations. Let's give that a watch.
Well, this is coming when, there's all of this wealth and you hear about it. England is facing rising costs of living, a living crisis, austerity budget cuts, and so on. And then you have those who are asking for reparations for colonialism, and they're wondering, $100 billion, $24 billion here and there, $500 million there. Some people want to be paid back, and members of the public are wondering, why are we suffering when you are, you have all of this vast wealth? Those are legitimate concerns.
Well, I think you're right about reparations in terms of if people want it, though, what they need to do is you always need to go back to the beginning of a supply chain. Where was the beginning of the supply chain?
Where did it start?
That was in Africa. And when across the entire world, when the slavery was taking place, which was the first nation in the world that abolished slavery? The first nation in the world to abolish it. It was started by William Wilberforce, was the British. In Great Britain, they abolished slavery.
Don't agree with her, but whatever.
2,000 naval men died on the high seas trying to stop slavery. Why? Because the African kings were rounding up their own people. They had them on cages waiting in the beaches. No one was running into Africa to get them. And I think you're totally right. If reparations need to be paid, we need to go right back to the beginning of that supply chain and say who was rounding up their own people and having them handcuffed in cages. Absolutely. That's where they should start. And maybe, I don't know, the descendants of those families where they died in the high seas trying to stop the slavery, that those families should receive something too, I think, at the same
people who were trying to stop slavery. Where's their
It's an interesting discussion, Hillary. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll continue to.
It's an interesting discussion. He definitely looked like he had egg on his face, huh? That lady fucking schooled him, man. Yeah, he didn't see that coming. That's for sure. No, and here's my hot take on reparations, Now, if anyone should receive reparations for slavery, I agree with what that lady said. And here in America, it should be the families of the 360,000 Union soldiers who died fighting for the end of slavery. Now, how about that? Now, and if it makes you feel any better, 40,000 of those Union soldiers who died were black. So, just saying. Now, let's continue on. You would think that the L that Don Lemon, just took, he would be a little bit more tactful in how he words propaganda into a topic when interviewing someone, but why would he? He's the host of the primetime slot of the most trusted name in news. He doesn't need to report facts. His words are the facts. And it's that kind of thinking that lands him in this situation a week later when talking to the acting director of the National Hurricane Center. So let's give that a watch.
Can you tell us what this is and what effect climate change has on this phenomenon?
Well, we could come back and talk about climate change at a later time. I want to focus on the here and now. We think the rapid intensification is probably almost done. There could be a little bit more intensification as it's still over the warm waters of the eastern Gulf of Mexico, but I don't think we're going to get any more rapid intensification. If you look here, you can actually see, pretty interesting for your viewers, you can actually see a second eye wall forming around the inner eye wall, and that's basically the second eye wall has overtaken the original eye wall, and that should arrest development.
So listen, I'm just trying to get that. You said you want to talk about climate change, but what effect does climate change have on this phenomenon that is happening now? Because it seems these storms are intensifying. That's the question here.
I don't think you can link climate change to any one event. on the whole, on the cumulative, climate change may be making storms worse, but to link it to any one event, I would caution against that.
Okay,
Yeah.
but listen, I grew up there, and these storms are intensifying. Something is causing them to intensify. So this storm is just—it's a
Yeah. Fuck your opinion. It's my opinion that matters, is what he's saying there. Fuck your opinion. It's my opinion that matters. You're not agreeing with my opinion. I grew up there. It seems like the storms are starting to intensify. It's hurricane season. It fucking baffles me, man. It does. It baffles me, you know. And this probably is not the first Category 5 hurricane to hit Florida, and it probably won't be the last. But to blame climate change is like blaming his demotion from the primetime spot to the morning opener on Donald Trump. And I'm sure he'll find some way of doing that. Anyways, this ends the segment, Lamestream Media.
The best word for what's happening in America right now is radicalization.
Disinformation, misinformation, radicalization, rage, and extremism.
Donald Trump and his team to overrule the will of
January 6th investigation.
Ah, dude, lame, farmer dude.